You know, when you take a look at this trade, who won on this side? Is it the Dallas Mavericks or is it the Lakers?
It's the Dallas Mavericks.
Why are you the way that you are?
The Dallas Mavericks will win the NBA championship.
I don't think so.
If Anthony Davis stays healthy and plays around 65 to 70 games, then in my view, the Dallas Mavericks become the second best team in the Western Conference.
Breaking news out of the NBA, the Mavericks are expected to fire general manager Nico Harrison at 10 a.m. Central Time.
When people talk about sleeper teams in the Western Conference, the Dallas Mavericks are usually near the top of the list. On paper, they have a lot of talent and the potential to be a solid top 8 team. If injuries weren't a factor, they could easily end up as a top 5 seed, but here's the problem: injuries do matter, and their main star, Anthony Davis, has a long history of them. As good as he is, it often feels like it's only a matter of time before he gets hurt and everything starts to fall apart.
And, we think defense wins championships, and we're bringing in one of the best two-way players in the league.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Are already without Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, and now Anthony Davis walking off the court. So these are the angles.
When it comes to Anthony Davis, no one doubts his talent or overall ability. The only real concern has always been his health. The Mavericks understood this when they decided to bring him in. Davis is now in his mid-30s, heading into his 15th season, and even during his prime, he was never the most durable or dependable superstar. He also wasn't the type of player who could consistently lift a weaker roster, as we saw during his years in New Orleans. Now, in Dallas, he's older, more injury-prone, and has a lot more wear on his body. At this stage of his career, he's simply not the player you build a franchise around. In recent seasons, aside from one unusual year where he played 76 games, he's missed 25 to 30 games, sometimes even half the season. And while he's still a great player, he's not healthy enough to carry a team that expects to compete for a championship. That's why, looking at the decisions made by Nico Harrison, trading away Luka for this situation makes things look even worse.
And LA's 2029 first-round pick. They had another first.
Looking at the roster Nico Harrison has put together, the problems are easy to spot. Their three main veterans, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, and Klay Thompson, are all over 30 and all have long injury histories. Then you look at the younger group, Cooper Flagg, Derek Lively, and Max Christie, all under 23. So the Mavericks are trying to mix two completely different timelines, and that almost never works for a team aiming for the playoffs, let alone a championship. If I were a Mavericks fan, seeing Davis already dealing with injuries, Kyrie missing the entire season, and Klay clearly not the player he used to be, I'd say it's time to end this era and shift fully to the young core. NBA history shows two consistent truths: teams built around stars who are 30 or older rarely win titles, and teams that try to balance two different eras usually fail even more.
The leadership that we have is really elite, and you'll see next year when our team comes back, we're going to be competing for a championship.
Washington straight line drive.
XO the Pelicans. Black turns down the three. Oh! Klay Thompson lost it. So at this point, the mission is obvious.
Fire Nico! Fire Nico! Fire Nico!
Looking at Dallas' older big three, Kyrie, Klay, and Anthony Davis, the only one I'd keep is Kyrie Irving. The player I'd move on from completely is Klay Thompson, and the one I'd trade right now is Anthony Davis. You might think that sounds like an overreaction, but I don't believe it is. At this moment, Davis still has solid trade value around the league. But by the end of this season or the next, that value will drop fast. In 2028, he'll be 34 going on 35, and his contract isn't exactly team-friendly: $54 million this year, $58 million the next, and $63 million after that. By 2027 and 2028, he'll be one of the top 5 highest-paid players in the NBA, but nowhere near a top 5, or even top 15, player. So what's the smart move? You trade him now while you can still get real assets in return, bring in younger players, and fully commit to the Cooper Flagg era.
It's not complicated.
Let's be honest, Cooper Flagg is never going to be Luka 2.0 or completely replace what Luka gave the franchise. But based on his potential, he can still become a very good player, possibly a multi-time All-Star. There's also another factor to consider. From a fan standpoint, Dallas never really built an emotional connection with Anthony Davis. He's been a Pelican, then a Laker, and now a Maverick. He doesn't have a real home team, and Dallas fans don't see him as one of their in many ways. He's the big man version of Kawhi Leonard, someone who's bounced around, is often injured, and constantly leaves people wondering, what if? And just like with Kawhi's teams, the pattern with Davis is the same: big expectations, a great roster on paper, lots of hype, but when the games actually start, everything eventually falls apart. For the Clippers, Kawhi has held them back for the last 3 or 4 years because he simply couldn't stay healthy. If Dallas hangs on to Anthony Davis until 2028, they're setting themselves up for the same situation, Kawhi 2.0, but in a Mavericks uniform.
5 the other night in their last game against Minnesota. Ball in, Davis, a blow by, and
you guys went after it.
Davis again.
12 seconds later.
They're already without Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, and now Anthony Davis walking off the court.
In Dallas, Anthony Davis has played only 14 of a possible 42 games this season, and in 2 of those he left early because of injuries. So really, he's only finished 12 full games as a Maverick. He hasn't even managed to play 5 straight games in a Dallas uniform. That's the same pattern we've seen with Kawhi Leonard, and just like with Kawhi, you can't get fooled by the flashes. Davis will return, look great, maybe drop 34 points with a big double-double, play strong defense, and make everyone think he's back. But within a few games, he'll be hurt again and out of the lineup. If you're okay with the occasional great performance and a little bit of short-term excitement, then keep Anthony Davis. But if what you want is long-term success and a real shot at building a championship contender, then you trade him now while his value is still high.
Do it! Do it!
So that wraps up the video. Before I end, I want to make one final point. Ever since the Luka trade, the Mavericks' biggest issue is that they're stuck between 2 directions. One foot is in the veteran era, and the other is in the youth movement. At some point, you have to choose a lane. For me, the choice is clear: commit to the young core and keep Kyrie. The players you move on from are Klay Thompson and Anthony Davis. It may sound tough, but this is the NBA, it's a business. If Dallas wants long-term success and a real chance to build something strong, that's the path they need to take, and it's honestly pretty obvious. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.